right, guys. Welcome to the No Filter Podcast Show. Here with your girl, Llesca. Today we have a special guest, Citric, a long-time friend for about like 10, 11 years. Very happy to have him here. And he took time out of his schedule to be here with us. So how about you tell us a little bit about yourself?
Yeah, man. Yeah, I just woke up, so.
Oh, yeah. He took a nap on the way here.
Sorry about that. I fell asleep right now, and it's not even the local here.
Ooh, is the age creeping up on you?
Yeah, I think it is.
By the way, how old are you now?
I just turned 55.
Damn. Yeah. All right.
November 10th.
Okay, so you're a Scorpio?
Yeah.
Okay.
That's it.
Nice.
Yeah, but yeah, no, thank you for having me on. It's been a minute since we chopped it up and and they hung out. So it's good to see you.
Yeah, good to see you too. It's very nice. It's we first got together or started talking like with the Latin Nation. It's no longer a thing, but back in the day there was a thing called Latin Nation. It was a bunch of Latinos and we did music together and it was a good time, and it's been a long time since we connected. So this is nice. Yeah. So the first question is just kind of a random question because like my commercial manager at AutoZone, if y'all don't know, I do work at AutoZone. So he wanted to ask you this question, or he told me to ask this question. He said, is it iOS or Android?
iOS.
Okay, that's right, Juan. He's always giving me shit about having iPhones. He's always bragging about his Android. He's like, you should ask that on the podcast. I'm like, so shout out to Juan from AutoZone. Okay, so now we're gonna get into it. So where you stay at, and where did you grow up?
East LA, Boyle Heights. I grew up, So now I stay everywhere. I'm always on the road, but for the most part I'm in the San Gabriel Valley. But we're always on the road, So we do a lot of traveling. So I get to wake up in different cities, different places, all the time. I'm blessed for that, and I love traveling. But mainly East Los, Boyle Heights, and man, it was during the '80s, it was some wild times. I tell you,
'80s, damn.
It was like a neighborhood, a different gang neighborhood in every block, so you couldn't really do much. Every time you walked out the door, you had to be careful because someone was shooting at you from down the street. Somebody bring out a slingshot trying to hit you with a rock or something.
Damn.
Yeah, times were crazy.
And do you think that has changed a lot now?
Yeah, I mean, it's still crazy. Don't get me wrong. East LA boys. It's not just there, but everywhere you go where there's hoods. It has a time when everything kind of just slows down, and then there's a time when shit is just active. But right now it's still it's active, but. It's not as bad as it was in the '80s, It's still, it was crazy hardcore. Like you couldn't do anything really. Everybody would do stuff out of the city because, what I'm saying. You couldn't even walk down to the store. Like I said, down to the liquor store, you couldn't even do that without getting hit up or getting shot at or something.
That's wild. So where would you go to do things?
We usually would go out, the next city over or two cities over, we'd go to like Montebello, Pico, or, we go to Hollywood. We hung out in Hollywood a lot, because back then the cruising scene was huge, and then, so, Hollywood Boulevard was like the happening scene where it was just like bumper to bumper, everybody just, just having a good time and, everybody partying, It was during that time when you could just drink and drive and nobody tripped,
That's dope, though. So how do you think that affected how you are today? How you become?
I want to say, it affected me in different ways, in negative ways, positive ways, because you kind of like, as when I started getting out of the hood and I started realizing there was more to it than just that, than where we were at. It was just one of those things where it was just like a whole new world just opened up. So I appreciated everything everywhere I went because coming from where we're at, and where I grew up in the neighborhood, it wasn't like super bad, but it was gang activity everywhere, but it wasn't all run down or nothing like that, and like I lived right on the borderline of East LA and Boyle Heights, so I got it from both sides, it was like it was just wild, but I appreciate a lot of things, and then and then the negative side, you see a lot of friends get killed, for dumb shit, and you see, you just see things that at a young age, nobody should be seeing,
Yeah, for sure.
But what I'm saying, so you see a lot of negative stuff, but But because of that, at the same time too, you kind of grow up and you appreciate life.
That's
appreciate
right.
more, everything that's going on around you.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah.
Okay, so what did you want to be when you were a kid, and why? And is it something that's kind of currently what you're doing now?
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah, I always wanted to be an entertainer, and since I was a kid, I remember my mom used to tell me, that she would come home and I'd be dancing around and just, in the tantaras, I guess. I was like 8 years old, but yeah, so my mom said I would always perform for her, and stuff like that. And I would ask her, like, hey, take me to Hollywood, I want to become an actor. I was like maybe 6, 7 years old, my mom said, or 8 years old, something like that, and I kind of remember some of that stuff, but my mom would, before she passed away, she would always tell me, like all kinds of stories of me, growing up trying to be an entertainer. But my mom used to tell me, because she didn't know English and she would work long hours, so she really didn't know anything about the business or anybody like that.
Right.
So my mom would be like, well, like, who do I talk to? I don't know where to go. I don't know how to get you into that, And it's not like the way it is now. Now it's a lot easier to break into the industry, It's still, it's still hard, and don't get me wrong. It's not like you just walk up, hey, I'm here, But it's like, it's easier to make contacts now because of social media.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So it's a lot easier, but yeah, so, and I was always the class clown, in elementary, and I was always getting in trouble. My mom getting called that, I was always acting up and just payasadas. And my mom would say, hey, nomás no de payaso, she always telling me. And she would get mad. But it was funny because my mom was comedy and she didn't even know it,
That's funny. So you get it from your mama?
I guess so, yeah.
Did you ever get suspended or put in like detention or anything for your payasadas?
Yeah, all the time, all the time, yeah. All the time. Because my whole thing, I was just trying to have a good time in school, like I'll be honest with you, man, I never really liked school other than just to go hang out and just hang out with the homies and people and just have a good time. That's how school was for me. Like I would go, I would learn, but I wasn't really trying to learn. Like I really didn't care about it. I was more focused on trying to be a payaso. Like my mom was saying. So I was always getting in trouble for that. My mom would get called and she would get super pissed because she was at work. And they would have to call her over there or send me home with a note, and then she would have to come and talk to the principal, and it was just a big old mess, and it wasn't like I was getting out of hand, like, like I was, I was just, I would disrupt the class here and there, but at the same time, it wasn't like, there was other kids that were doing work shit, but I would catch the short end of the stick, so. But yeah, I was just trying to have a good time at school. That wasn't really my thing. Like I just couldn't get into it.
What do you think? Like, do you think school is for everybody, or do you think they should cap it off at a certain like age or grade level? How do you feel about that?
Man, that's a good one because I feel like sometimes I feel like school is not for everybody. You know what I'm saying? Because I know a lot of homies that really love school, and then there's a lot of fools like me that it just wasn't for me. Not that I hate it, I didn't think it was for me, And then, but there's a lot of kids, that they love school, and that's good, man. So I always tell them, if you want to study and that's what you like doing, and you like a certain career, but it requires this and that, and you got to go to school for so many years, do it. You know what I'm saying? If you're comfortable with it and you like it, that's what you want to do it.
Right.
But if you're not into school, don't go waste your time and go waste other people's time.
And money. Out of doing lashes, dude,
Yeah.
the thing I heard the most out of so many girls and women is just like how they went to college for such and such years and then they never used their freaking degree, or they regret it, or they're not happy doing what they're doing. And I'm like, I think it's just a lot of it's egoistical, or a lot of parents too pushing that on their kids. Like, you need to do this, or if you don't do that, you're not respected, whatever. But
that's
like,
what it is.
It's to me, a lot of the time, I think it's a waste of money because most people don't. From my experience and from what I heard, I feel like most people don't even use their degrees and stuff.
They don't. There's a lot of people that have college degrees, and they're just in debt, and they're not. You know what I'm saying? They're and I hate to say it like that, but I know some people that got, they got some degrees working at Walmart right now because they can't get a job in that field, and I'm like, man, all that time, all that money, hopefully eventually, they find what they're looking for, what they need, But at the end of the day, yeah, people got to do what they got to do, you know, to make ends meet in the meantime, you know. But yeah, I mean, shit. But I just look at it like, if you know what I'm saying, if you're getting pushed into doing shit, don't do it. You know what I'm saying? It's like, you know, because a lot of times, you know, I get it. Parents want to see their kids do better than them and you know, accelerate more, you know, and that's how my mom was. My mom was, you know, she dropped out of school when she was like in 4th grade or something, or 5th grade, because she had to work, you know. It was a big family. They had to make money to feed everybody, you know. So my mom started working at a young age. So when she came to the United States, that's all she knew was just to work, you know. And so she wanted me to get a career, you know, and study. And so she never saw, you know, the entertainment business as an outlet for me. She just thought, you know, well, yeah, you could do it as a side thing, but she would tell me, you know, in the beginning, like, well, you know, not everybody makes it. She would be, you know, you got to be realistically. She was not everybody makes it. She was not everybody makes it. And I used to tell her, no, I know that, you know, it's not 100% guaranteed. Nothing's guaranteed. Right. But I'm gonna give it a shot, you know, and I'm gonna do what I got to do in the meantime, and you know, do different things of making money, you know, to keep surviving and stuff, you know, while I could get something going with this entertainment stuff, you know. Right.
Do you feel like you relate with your generation? Because I feel like a lot of the older generation, I think my mom's like, I don't even know, she's like 50 something or 60 something, but they have a way different like viewpoint on life, and like, you know, that's not realistic, or that's not a real job, or what are you gonna get out of it, or are you making money, or you know what I mean, like so many like limiting beliefs. Like, how do you feel you differentiate from your age group, or if you don't, or what do you relate to and what do you not?
I mean, shit, I relate to everybody, to be honest, you know what I'm saying? Because I feel for everybody, you know what I'm saying? Like, I feel like the youngsters that are coming up, that are trying to get into the business, you know, the older cats that are been doing in the business, but they still haven't hit where they want to be, you know? So I relate to everybody, because I've been there, you know? I've been through all these different phases and all these different steps, you know, in life, you know? So I relate with everybody, and I feel for everybody, you know what I'm saying? And I always tell everybody, you know, like, no matter how, you know, whoever it is, you know, no matter the age, you know, like, hey, man, if you really want to do something, you're going to do it. You know what I'm saying? You're going to go out and get it, you know what I'm saying? But you got to want it really, you know, you want it that bad, you're going to go out and get it, you know, and make it happen, you know, somehow. So, you know what I'm saying? But yeah, I relate to all age groups, you know. It's like, I get a lot of youngsters always hitting me up, you know, and for advice and asking me this and what, you know, and you know, and that's one thing, I never turn down people like that, you know, like when people, especially when they hit me up for advice, well, what do you think, you know, what would be the best bet, well, you know, how could I go about this, you know, especially when it's regarding entertainment, you know, I'll always take the time, you know, and let people know, because I was there at one point, you know, and you know, there's a lot of stuff that I'm still learning, you know, at my age, you know, where I'm still going through shit, you know, and every day is just a different day, you know. You know, and the hustle and the grind don't stop. You know?
We're always learning.
Yeah, you're always learning. You never stop learning. You know, when the day you stop learning is like when, you know, I guess life is over.
Right? No, 100%. I was like, if you're not learning, like you're not growing, you're not like you're. To me, that is scary as fuck.
And my mom used to always tell me the same thing. Like in the beginning. Like, well, you know, right away she thought I was gonna start making money right away, you know. So she would always tell me, well, you're not even making money, you know. I'd be out on the road, because you know I was doing music, you know. Yeah. So you know, there's no pay, you know. It's like we do like, you know, like $100 shows, you know, and we have to split it amongst 3 or 4.
Shit.
You know.
Oh, you gotta pay. You gotta pay to get your slot.
You know. But when I was doing stuff, there still wasn't the pay to play yet at that time, you know. No. So, but we were still, but we would get like gas money and food and go out and do shows. Like we were doing a lot of stuff in Arizona, you know, like shout out to Johnny Lazoya from a company called Super Events Entertainment. And he used to always book us. We had a record out, but we weren't like blowing up or no. It was just like strictly underground. It was like, it was out there, but it wasn't like, you know, but this guy would book us to do shows and he would pay for all our expenses.
That's dope.
Yeah, so he would take care of us.
Shout
like
out
that.
to him.
You know? Yeah,
Whatever his name is, I forgot already.
Johnny Lazoya.
There we go.
You know, he always looked out for all his artists that he would, because he would do the Lowrider Super shows in Arizona. Ooh. Yeah, so they were like huge shows. So he's the reason why we started doing like a gang of shows like in front of like 10, 15,000 people and stuff. Damn. You know, so he
I want to do that.
he was a big part of our career in the early stages when I was doing music, and the group was called Browntown, and so shout out to Johnny, man, because and it was just us, but he looked out for a gang of artists, and he was always booking all kinds of different acts and paying everybody, he would always put a budget aside, and he was okay, I'm gonna hire this guy, this artist, like that, and he would make sure everybody was good and taken care of, man. So, and we need more promoters like that.
Yeah, I was gonna say, I feel like it takes a team, right? And I feel like there's definitely a need for people that are genuine, that really care about their people. You know what I mean? I think that's dope as fuck, because not everybody's like that. So I definitely respect the fuck out of that shit.
Yeah, not real shit,
Yeah. What's your sign?
Huh?
What's your sign?
Oh, Scorpio.
That's right. Okay,
yeah,
Scorpio.
yeah.
Because I was gonna say, you talk a lot about, you feel like with people, you understand.
Yeah.
So okay, that makes sense, because you are a water sign. You are deep. You can be passionate, or you are passionate.
I pick up on people's energies,
Okay.
Like easy.
Yeah, intuitive and all that stuff. Okay.
Sometimes it's good, sometimes it's bad, but yeah. But
why would you say it's bad though?
Well, because sometimes you could be having a good day and then somebody's having a fucked up day, but you pick up on energy, so you kind of feel bad for them. You know what I'm saying? So
you kind of wallow in it as well.
Yeah. So it's like that. But at the end of the day, is I try to talk to people, and sometimes people going through depression, and I'll kind of try to snap them out of it, because sometimes I feel depression. It exists, but I feel like it's kind of a mind over matter thing too, though,
Explain that.
Mind over matter, it's basically, it's like the mind is a powerful thing. It's super powerful. You could manifest anything you want, but you got to use your mind and your heart.
Yeah.
To manifest whatever you want. You can get whatever you want in life, but you got to really, really want it and manifest it,
And believe it. I feel like believe it. Like truly believe it.
You have to believe it. Yeah. Like there's a saying. I think it says if you speak it into existence, it's already yours or something like that. Saying because you got to believe it.
Yeah.
You got to believe it. So I always feel like sometimes we get caught up with the whole things, negative shit that's going on in life. Like maybe you just got fired, or something didn't go your way, or a relationship just didn't work out the way you wanted it to work out, and it puts you in a state of depression,
Yeah.
So you kind of gotta you gotta from the inside you gotta snap out of it, and just gotta man, you know what, it is what it is,
Yeah, you gotta feel it 100%, but then you gotta be like, all right, I felt it, I felt sorry for myself, give me a few days, whatever, but you can't stay there, because the longer you stay there, the worse it gets. Worse. You just dig yourself a deeper hole, and then I feel like a lot of people do that because they can't get themselves out. Yeah. And I've been there before too, so I'm speaking from experience here. But yeah, I think definitely it's okay, I'm going through the shit. Yes, it sucks, but at some point, I need to find a way out, because then you're just stuck in this state where you're not doing nothing, or where you feel sorry for yourself, and you're not really living life in a way, because you're just in this gray area. And I think
you get stuck. You get stuck. You let life get the best of you sometimes, man. It happens to everybody. I don't care how positive. I see a lot of them that they're super positive, but I don't care. At some point, you weren't like that. Something happened, something brought you down, and you get stuck. And I'm not gonna lie, I was like that for a couple of years, a while back, and I had to kind of pull myself out of that. It's just I was just letting myself get deeper and deeper into depression, and I just kind of snapped out of it one day, and I said, nah, it's man.
Something's got to change.
Something's got to change, and something's got to give. And I started, just started the power of prayer too. That works. Which is basically, it's basically like manifesting, so to speak. But you talk to yourself. You talk to yourself. You got to pump yourself up. You got to talk to yourself sometimes, and when you're by yourself, and just, what I'm saying. And there's nothing wrong with that, because that kind of it's like you're speaking to your higher self,
Yeah, exactly. And you got to love yourself. You know what? I love me. I matter. So I'm going to do what it takes to get myself out of this, or I'm going to do what it takes to do what I want to do, or whatever it is, you know what I mean? But it comes down to that self-love. When you don't really think about yourself or love yourself, you let so much shit happen to you, and you let just life pass you by, or you stay in whatever state, low vibration state, for a long period of time. But it's no, you know what? I care about me.
Yeah, exactly.
I don't like me like this. So I'm going to change it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And then obviously like involves also other people. I feel like community is so huge. And it sucks, and you know, when people don't feel like they have a person or people that help them. But I think that's so important. If you don't have people, like, go find a book or go meditate, go pray, whatever. You know what I mean? Like, find ways to make you feel better and like love yourself, whatever it takes, you know, in order to push forward. Because that's what it comes down to. It's like your own self, you know, your self-love. Own backbone and self-love and all that stuff in order to keep going. Because life.
Self-love and self-care, that's it, you know. And it's sometimes I get it, you know, it's hard. It's hard because there's a lot of shit going on in life, you know, and when you know all they say, you know, when life comes at you, sometimes it comes at you hard, you know, and fast, you know. So you know what I'm saying? But it's part of the journey at the end of the day, you know what I'm saying? It's like, you know, it's like, you know, who said it best? Was Steven Tyler from a group called Aerosmith. You know, he's life's a journey, not a destination. You know?
Exactly.
You know, so you got to enjoy the journey. You got to enjoy the process too. You know, you got to know that everything here in this world, you know, everything is just temporary.
Yes.
We're not gonna be here forever. You know what I'm saying? It's like a lot of people, like, they take sometimes, you know, like, and I'm not gonna lie, I get caught up sometimes where something in business doesn't go right. You know what I'm saying? And then, you know, like, it'll throw me off. But then I always snap out of it, though. You know, if I'm like, nah, you know, it is what it is, man. Whatever's going to happen is going to happen. Yep. Whatever's meant to be will be. And I'm just going to, you know, enjoy the journey and the process and just keep doing what I got to do. And everything will line up. You know, everything will come together. And yeah, that's been the case, you know?
Yeah, I don't think life is meant to be all rainbows and butterflies. Like, I feel we are able to feel everything we feel, the highs, the lows, for a reason. We're meant to be experiencing that. So to think that you're going to have a life that's just always fucking great and you're always feeling happy, always like, gosh, you're going for yourself, that's crazy. You know what I mean? No, there's a reason why we feel everything. There's the whole fucking spectrum. And I feel we're meant to like experience it all and learn from the lows and appreciate the highs, you know? And then when you're in between also, like, be thankful for everything, you know, be thankful for the challenges. Like, what can I learn from this, or what, you know what I mean? Everything's a teacher. Everybody's a teacher, like what to do, what not to do, or, you know, even more about yourself, you know what I mean? So I think it's important to be grateful no matter what, because that's something that I've been like on a journey in, because I'm like, why the fuck does shit always happen to me and I'm nice and blah 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 blah, and it's like, it doesn't get you anywhere to be like feeling sorry for yourself and like in that like woe is me whatever, but it's just like, okay, you know what, I may not know why this is happening to me, but this is what I can do. I can do this today. It is what it is. What can I learn from this? And just continue to, you know, go forward.
Exactly. Yeah, because at the end of the day, you know, we're really here just to learn.
Yeah. It's a big fucking school.
It really is, yeah. We're just here to learn different emotions and experiences, you know, so you got to take the good with the bad and the bad with the good, you know, and just kind of just, you know, just keep going and just know that, you know, we're not here forever. You know what I'm saying? You know, everything ends, you know, everything is temporary, you know, nothing lasts forever, not even bad times, you know?
Yeah, I think that's something I like to keep close, because I'm like, whenever I'm going through something, I'm like, I'm just going to cry it out. Yeah. I'm going to feel better after this. And
there's nothing wrong with that.
The situation may not resolve, or whenever it resolves, but it's not going to be forever. Yeah. You know what I mean? And things don't always work like the way we think. Sometimes they work out better than we expect. Sometimes they're not what we want, but it's all part of it. So it's just like, okay, well, either way, everything's temporary. So just like, if that's all you have holding you together, it's just like, hey, this is not going to last forever.
Yeah, you know, and that's the thing that, you know, saying even sometimes like some negative shit that might happen to you might be a blessing in disguise, and you don't even know it. You know what I'm saying? You don't see it because you're so caught up in the whole moment, and you know, and you're kind of disappointed because, you know, some shit went south, and you know what I'm saying. But sometimes, man, it's a you know, like, I look back at a lot of stuff, and that when I thought it was like, man, like, why me, or why, you know, like, that's fucked up, you know what, like, why did this happen, or this, and then I look at it, you know, and then I look at it now, and I was like, dude, it was at the end of the day, it was a blessing, you know. I just didn't see it at the time, you know. So you kind of got to. That's why I say you got to take the bad with the good and the good with the bad, because at the end of the day, you're just here to learn, and I feel that if you always, you know, because you can't be positive 24/7, you know.
No,
positive,
no.
You know, life's a roller coaster, you know.
Yes.
Like, even the people that are rich, they're super rich, and and could afford whatever they want and do whatever, and you go, even them, you know what I'm saying, like. You know, I know a lot of them like that, you know what I'm saying? And I see them, and, you know, a lot of them, you know, the money doesn't really yeah, you could buy a lot of shit, you could do stuff, but it's just temporary too, though.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? It's just temporary.
That's not fulfillment.
It's not fulfillment. Yeah.
It's enjoyable, but it's not internal.
Yeah, you got to be good with yourself on the
exactly.
inside. You know what I'm saying? Once you're good with yourself on the inside, it don't matter how much money you have or you don't. You know, it's like if you're good on the inside, you're gonna be good anywhere you go.
Yep, no matter what. Yep. No matter what. Okay, so talking about that, let's move on to like your collaboration with George Lopez. How did that come about? Are you going to be working with him again in the future? How long was that? Like, how did all that happen?
Well, okay, so in 2015, I signed on to do a show with George, which it was called Lopez, and it was on TV Land, and which by the way now it's on what is it, Amazon Prime. You can see it on Amazon Prime. You know, I'm not sure how much it is, but you could download it or stream it. But it's 2 seasons. We shot 2 seasons, so. We signed on in 2015, and then in 2016, we started shooting. And basically, the way I got that gig was the 2 writers and executive producers, John Auschler and Dave Krinsky. They were executive producers in putting this new show together. And they hit on my manager, but I didn't know it was them. But prior to that, I had worked with them before on other projects, and they were telling me for a couple of years, "Hey, we want to put you in this shit. We're trying to work on some shit. We're gonna put you in there." And I'm like, cool, man. You know, I mean, they've always put me in stuff, you know, and along with Mike Judge, the guy that did Beavis and Butthead and King of the Hill. Yeah, you know, he's always put me in stuff. And so these guys for like a couple of years, they kept telling me, he goes, "Hey, we're working on something. And I was like, cool, man, whatever, man. Just, you know, like I just kept doing what I'm doing. I never bugged them or anything. You know, I just figured, if they call me, they call me. Yeah, they call me, cool, you know. And and eventually one day I got the call. I didn't know it was from them. Jeez. But my agent at the time, she hit me up and she said, hey, they hit me up about if you're interested to do a pilot with George Lopez. That they're working on a new TV show for him. And I was like, fuck yeah, you know. I was like, I'm down.
Oh yeah, say less, bitch.
Yeah, I'm not gonna say no, you know. So long story short, I ended up going to the table read. You know, the table read is where you get together with George and some of the cast members and the producers, and you go over the script, you know, and you read, you know, with some of the cast members, and you just, you know, you go over just to, you know, to see where the chemistry's at, to see, you know, if it's gonna work, you know.
Right. Mm-hmm.
So they called me in for the table read in the meeting. And I met George that day, and then I remember it was early in the morning. We met up in Sony Studios, and then George walks in. Dope. And he looks at me, and then one of the writers, John, and the executive, he introduced me to George. He goes, "Hey, George, this is Anthony, aka Citric. He's gonna play Manolo, you know, which is the George's driver on the show. And I play George's driver and bodyguard, and he's homie from the neighborhood, you know." So George looked at me, and then he had his shades on, took off his shades, and he kind of sized me up. Then he shook my hand, and he goes, "All right, let's get to work." And then so we sat down. I was just like, "All right, cool, man." So we sat down and we read. And George looked over at me, and he goes, "Hey, the way you read right here, man, you got to read like that in the next room, man." And I was like, "Well, what's going on in the next room?" He goes, "Oh, you'll see."
Yeah, so you're saying that once you go to the back room, what did you find out, or what happened back there?
So once we done that table read, and George said, "You know, you like the way you read like this, you got to read in that next room." I was like, "Well, what's going on in the next room?" He goes, you know, he's like, "You'll see." So I was like, "All right, I guess," you know. So we go into the next room, and there's like, man, I want to say about a good 20 executives from TV Land. Yeah, so they're all getting coffee and donuts, and there's a bunch of chairs, and there's a long ass table, and I'm like, what the fuck, you know? Like I had never done anything like this, you know. So this is like my first time doing something like that, and wow. Yeah, so
pressure. So
yeah, the pressure was on. so now I know why George said, goes, the way you read here, you better read in there, because now we're reading for the executives, you know, of TV Land, like all the main people that are, you know, running the network, you know, and so. They all got their coffee and donuts or whatever they were eating. They all sat down. It was like we were doing a live play. So we're sitting on a table like this, you know, George sitting right here, I'm sitting right next to the other cast members over there on this side. And and they're all sitting in front of us, like 20 people, you know, and we started doing the table, you know, the reading for them. And then obviously George starts it off, you know, he's the star of the show. So he starts it off, he's doing his thing. And then when it comes to my first line, I stumbled. Ooh. Yeah, I was like, oh shit. But I caught it, you know, right away. And I improvised some shit, and then so they laughed, and then, it was funny. So that's when I knew, okay, I think I got them, But after that, the rest of the reading for TV Land execs, it went great, like they were feeling it. But even after the fact, they still wanted a cast, more people. Well, not cast, but they wanted an audition for my role.
For your role,
yeah.
Okay.
But the writers and then they're also executives for the show. They kept saying, no, that's Citric, Manolo's Citric all the way. That's him. And TV Land, well, yeah, we get it. We like him. He's cool, but we would want to audition a couple other casts just to make sure, it's not. And the writers kept fighting. They kept saying, no, that's fucking Citric, man. I'm telling you, man. So it ended up going. They did a couple of focal testing groups. Where they get 20, 30 people in a room, and they show the episode, and then they people take notes and they get reactions. They have like a survey. Yeah, so I tested pretty good, and they were still kind of not convinced. So they did another one, and I tested even higher. And after that, when they finally shot, they said, okay, well, let's shoot the pilot, see how it goes. So we shot a presentation pilot. It was like a 15-minute pilot, just to so that everybody could get an idea of what it's supposed to look like. And after they seen that, they saw the chemistry between me and George on screen and all that. They were like, they couldn't deny it. They were
right,
like,
yeah,
all right, yeah, Citric's Manolo, and so yeah, so shout out to John and Dave. They fought for me to be on that, and man, it's like those dudes are really good dudes, man. Always looking out for me. When there's something that they could put me in, they'll call me. No questions asked. No, they won't even audition me or nothing, man. They just, hey, we got this part for you, man. That's it. And they'll call me in. So yeah, so I got that, and we shot 2 seasons of the show. It's called Lopez, and we were gonna shoot a 3rd season, and it just, something happened. George had a fallout with the network, I believe, and yeah, so I guess the network wasn't meeting some requirements that George wanted, and just business politics. It happens. So the fallout kind of happened, and yeah, we didn't get a season 3, but 2 seasons are up on Amazon, and I'll always be grateful for that opportunity, because I got to work with a legend, with George.
Not everybody gets to work with George Lopez. I'm sorry.
Exactly,
so props to you doing your damn thing and showing them up and handling that pressure.
And it was crazy because I had never done television like that, and it was a co-star role. So for me, I've done a couple of movies here and there, whatever, but I never done television like that, and so it was a new experience. And then working with a legend like George, and he's experienced been doing this so many years, and he just showed me the ropes too, it was cool because George is about business, but he's also about a good time, having a good time, and enjoying yourself on set, not just all like strictly like everybody walking around with scared or pissed off, he wants everybody, he wants people to get the job done, have a good time, but get the job done. You know what I'm saying? Like don't slack it off, have you horse around at work, whatever, good time, because he would always roast everybody on set, so that was his thing. So he had a nickname for everybody. He used to call me Citro, because I was a Citric, but he would call me Citro. So he would always switch up your whatever they called you. He would switch it up and call you something different, but that was just his way of showing love, and clowning around. So they would always. I remember people that knew George for years, that knew it goes, well, if George doesn't clown you, he doesn't like you.
Okay.
So if he roasts you, it's because he likes you, and he feels comfortable.
Right.
But so shout out to George, man, because he could have easily said, nah, Charlie, whatever. But he saw too, that we got along cool from the jump, and what I'm saying, I was able to pull that role through. Even though, like I said, he taught me a lot of shit, like timing, and I learned a lot of time. Like I already had some of the timing down, but I learned more just by watching my improv, and because I remember there was this one scene where we had to get the scene down, but he goes, we're gonna do a couple takes where we're just gonna off the fly, whatever, we'll kind of stick to the script, but then we're gonna change it up right here. So I'm gonna come in, when I come in at this part, I'm gonna say this, and then you're gonna come in right here and then just say this, or or something around those lines, whatever you feel comfortable with. And I'm just standing there looking at him with a blank face, you know.
Say that again.
I was totally lost, you know. And then after he looks at me and he goes, never mind, man. I think it's too soon, man. He goes, you'll catch on. He goes, you'll catch on. But we, you know, I followed his lead. You know, I just followed his lead, and I had to pick up on it. He had me on my toes. You know, like. You know, that's one thing, you know, like I always made sure I always had my lines, my dialogue, you know, I wouldn't forget it, you know, and like I always make sure I had it embedded in my mind. So the night before, I would always study whatever we were going to film the following day. Mm-hmm. The night before, I would be up for a couple hours just studying, you know, memorizing the shit. And because one time, especially after one time, I lost my train of thought. In between the Tingsss, we were doing a scene where it's like 3 or 4 of us, so it's a lot of going back and forth. So you got to kind of memorize everybody's lines and know who's gonna come. So then you could come in and jump in with your shit, you know. Mm-hmm. And then on top of that, you got to make it sound natural as fuck, you know. So it's like fuck, you know. So I learned a lot of shit, you know. But one time I just blanked out, and George turned around, and looked at me, he goes, "Are you awake or you're asleep, man?" You know, because he goes, it's your fucking line, man. And I was like, oh shit. And then after he yells out to production, he goes, "Hey, can we get another bald-headed cholo back there, you know, that can remember his lines?" So he started roasting me, and, you know, he was saying, so I was like, fuck that. Yeah. So after that, I was like, man, I was always on point after that. Yeah, because I was like, man, I ain't trying to get roasted and clowned.
Damn.
But he, you know, he would do it out of, you know, just it was just some funny shit. So I never took none of that shit personal, you know?
Yeah, for sure. Well, I think that's dope as fuck, and now I definitely want to watch that show. So
yeah, check it out on Amazon.
Yeah, Amazon Prime. So what's it called again? For
Lopez.
The Lopez?
Yeah, Lopez.
Lopez on Prime.
So basically, yeah, it's just basically it's like a reality show, but it's not. It's all scripted, you know, and but it's all real life stories. That's happened to George, you know. So basically, he plays himself, you know. He's as a, you know, big time comedian, actor.
So like,
you know?
pretty much like reenacting in a way.
Yeah.
Okay.
And I play his bodyguard and driver, and I'm like his homie from the neighborhood, you know. Okay. So yeah, so it was just it was like almost like a reality show in a way. So dope. People got to see another side of George, you know, and it was just like it was cool, man. So a lot of people always hit me up to this day, you know, like, oh man, they need to bring that show back. That shit was funny, man. That shit was dope.
Bring it back.
Yeah, because it was like a whole nother side of George, you know. It was like different, you know. It was like behind the scenes scenario to his life, you know.
We all love that. I love that. I know I like that.
Yeah, so
shit.
it was like, you know, it was like just like behind the scenes to his real life, you know. So it was a good run though, man. It opened up a lot of doors for me. So I'll forever be grateful for that opportunity, you know.
Yes, God bless. God bless.
Yeah, thank you.
That's amazing. All right, so we're going to switch it up with the questions because, you know, it is the No Filter podcast. So we're going to talk about some funny shit. All right. Okay, so I'm going to ask this to everybody, but like, what's one thing you hate or dislike about the opposite sex?
One thing I hate or dislike?
Hate or dislike, whatever it is.
Oh, man.
Come on, and be real. Come on, we need the tea.
I mean,
you won't get canceled.
It's because, you know, here's the thing. No, here's the thing. I know, right? But so here's the thing. It's like every woman is different. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? Every woman has a different personality. You know what I'm saying? But so I can't really. There's nothing I can say that I hate about women because I love everything about women. You know. I feel like that's a gift from God, you know, for men, you know. That's how I look at it, you know. So there's nothing I can say that I dislike this about women, or you know, because every woman has a different personality, you know. There's some women that you're just like hanging out with the homies and kicking it and cool and vibing, you know. And then there's some women just love giving you a hard time and making your life hard. But that just goes with anybody, you know. That could be a dude, you know, like, you know, they're always saying like, well, you know, like dudes can be bitches too, you know, like shit like that. So it's like, you know, so it's not necessarily you're calling a woman bitch or whatever, you know, because there's some dudes that are, you know, that act fucking really bad, you know, that act stupid, you know. So it's like, you know what I'm saying? So it's like I can't say that I hate, you know, anything. Yeah, there's nothing I could say that, you know, bad about women, you know.
Okay, good answer. So you're not getting canceled tonight. Are you single right now?
Yeah.
You're single. How long have you been single?
Oh man, I've been single. I mean, just depends who you ask, I guess, you know, but oh,
Toxico. All right, his true colors are coming out now.
It's the Four Loco. Salud.
Cheers to that one.
Nah, you know,
According to you, how long have you been single?
Man, I've been single for a while, man. I want to say a good, 4 years, 5 years, maybe going on 5 years.
Damn, that's crazy.
Yeah, you know, here's the thing. When I get in a relationship, I get in a relationship. You know, I'm
Going
committed.
deep. Yeah.
I'm committed, 100%. You know what I'm saying? I'll make it work. I want to make it work. Now, you know what I'm saying? The other party, you know, she don't, you know, she does something to fuck shit up. Then that, you know, that's, you know, I always say you could only do something that you're gonna fuck it up because I'm in here for the long haul. You know what I'm saying? But you know what I'm saying? I know nobody's perfect.
Are you jealous?
You know what? I used to be. But
Scorpios can be.
Yeah, I used to be.
Yeah,
When I was younger. Now I'm just like, man, I just like fuck it. Whatever people are gonna do, man, they're gonna do, man. If someone's gonna cheat on you, they're gonna cheat on you no matter what, you know.
Do you think cheating is black and white, or is it context? How do you feel about cheating? Because I feel like a lot of people are like, he's a cheater, she's a cheater, she's the worst, he's the worst. I don't think it's like that.
Yeah, nah.
I mean, context is everything.
It's like, man, I don't know, man. Like that's what I was saying. Like everybody is different. Everybody has a different personality.
Right.
And you know what I'm saying? It's like, man, I know some women that are mad cheaters, you know? And then I know some women that are like super loyal. And it's the same thing with dudes. You know, I know some dudes that are like super loyal and I know some dudes that are super cheaters. So it's like, you know what I'm saying? I don't know, man. It's just, every individual is different, I guess. You know what I'm saying? It's just like, but when I commit, you know what I'm saying? Like I'm committed. And it takes me a long time. If I get out in a relationship, something happens or whatever, you know, because I'm not going to lie, you know, yeah, I've been in a couple of relationships where I just, you know, I just didn't see it going anywhere, you know, and I just like, but you know what, like shit ain't happening right, you know.
You let them know.
Yeah, you know, I'll be straight up, you know, and that's one thing is communication.
Oh yeah. 100%.
No matter what, even if it's bad,
yes.
you know, like
it has to be said.
Yeah, you know, whatever has to be said has to be said, and just be straight up. You know what I'm saying? Like, you might feel bad or whatever, but sometimes it's for the best.
Yeah.
It's better to be straight up. You know what I'm saying? So
somebody's gonna get resentful or bitter, or you're gonna be like whatever. I think communication is so huge. Like the good, the bad, the in between is like if you are in it with somebody, like it needs to be said.
It needs to be said,
regardless.
Yeah,
like,
exactly. You know what I'm saying? And you know, because you can't be in there and holding stuff back. You know what I'm saying? That's one bad thing about being, if you're in a relationship and you know, and you hold back. So it's better to just be straight up. You know what I'm saying? You don't have to be harsh about shit. You know, just, you know, there's ways of, you know, of saying shit. You know, and that's basically what it is. But yeah, communication is key for any relationship. You know what I'm saying? And but yeah, so if I get out of a relationship for whatever reason, you know what I'm saying? I don't like to jump into another relationship or, you know, just be jumping back and forth. You know, like it takes me a while to like really like find somebody I could just like really vibe with, and it's like, okay, you know, I could see myself a long haul with this, you know?
Right.
And so most of my relationships have been, you know, like I've had a couple with like maybe like 1 year, you know, like maybe like two. I've maybe had like two relationships that lasted maybe like a year and a half. But most of my relationships have been more like 5 years, 10 years, you know? Okay. And shit like that. So, you know, because I try to make it work, but if it don't work, you know, like, but, you know, like I'm not a saint either, you know, like in the beginning, you know, when I was younger, you know, yeah, you know, like, you know, I'm not going to lie, you know, a couple of times it was my fault, you know, you know, and I take full responsibility for that shit. But as you get older and you grow, you know what I'm saying? You kind of just live and learn, and you start, you know, you start figuring shit out, and you're just like, you know what I'm saying? And then, so you kind of like learn like what you're willing to put up with, what you're not willing to put up with, you know? And you just got to be straight up, you know? And if your other half is, you know, they're cool with it, and they're you know what I'm saying? They agree, and they, you know, they're cool with, you know? And sometimes they, you know, they might say they agree, and sometimes, you know, and down the line, they, you know, they're not cool with your shit, you know, especially entertainment business.
Right. I think it comes down to like mental and emotional maturity. I feel like I think it's important, like, I'm gonna put my boyfriend in here. like it almost felt like a contract, because I was like, what are your likes, what are your dislikes, what hard no's, what are your boundaries, what are you like, we literally talked over this like for weeks before any of that like came into like fruition. Like, yeah, we were hanging out and all that, whatever, working out, but like it just comes down to like saying everything, even the parts of you that you don't want to say, or maybe like, oh, this shouldn't matter, or this, you know what I mean? It's like, no, I'm gonna say that this is how I am in this situation, this is how I am in that situation, how are you, how do you respond, all that, because you kind of need to know that before you go in, because like once you're in there, you get in your feels, then it's a lot of the time it's too late for people, because like you feel like, oh, I already like this person, oh no, it's gonna be okay, like, or I'm gonna like just pretend like that doesn't matter, but like then you end up getting like bitter, or like problems come up, or even if it was something small, then later down the road it happens again and again, then it becomes a big thing, you know what I mean? So it's important, even though it feels like kind of like, even I told him, I was like, this feels like we're doing a contract right now. I'm like, but I like it, I'm like, I like this. I've never had this kind of conversation with anybody like that, you know, and it feels good, because I'm like, okay, I know where you stand, I know where I stand, I know what could happen, or what, you know what I mean, in different situations, and then we can decide. Like, love is not logical, but at the same time, like going into a relationship, you do have to think about it, you know, because you are committing to spending time being with somebody. And for me, it's not like, I don't just want to have like, I've had flings, but for me, anybody, you know, that wants somebody, you're in it for the long haul, right? So you have to kind of feel each other out before you actually.
You have to, it's important. At the end of the day, it's like a contract.
Yeah, it is. It really
you know
is.
What I'm saying? It's like something like marriage. You know, marriage is a contract. You know, basically. You know what I'm saying? And ours, you know, like I don't have anything against marriage, but I just look at it like it's more of a business more than anything. You know what I'm saying? Because if you really love somebody, you know, sometimes you know it's like a piece of paper is not gonna.
Right.
You know, it's not gonna make a difference. If you love that person and you're willing to build with that person's willing to build with you. Then you're gonna do it regardless of paperwork or no paperwork. You know what I'm saying? But it has to be coming from both sides. You know
exactly.
So all these things have to be talked about. You know, that's the problem, is that a lot of people just jump into relationships head first. Yeah. You know, we've all been there. I'm not saying, you know, fuck, I've never done that.
We've all been there, bitch.
Yeah, because I've been there. You know, a year later, I'm like, fuck. You know,
like, shit.
How do I get out of this shit? You know, I'm like, damn. You know, like I've been there where like, man, contemplating for months. How do I get out of this? Because at the same time, I don't like to break hearts, you know? I'm not a heartbreaker like that either. You know, I don't like to make people feel bad, you know?
And that's the hard part. And that's what you can avoid when you have these talks. If you do that from the jump, beforehand.
Then you avoid all that shit.
You avoid, like, oh, maybe, okay, okay, you're telling me this, and this is not aligning, so maybe it's not right for us to be together, right? Versus like, oh, like I feel good, love hanging out with you, and but we don't have any of these talks, and then like we like hang out, and it's a year later, and then now the issue comes up, and now I'm just like, fuck, like, you know what I mean? And it sucks because you hurt the other person's feelings, but at the end of the day, it comes down to like, what is good for me? You got to be selfish, but like again, it comes down to when you first start talking to somebody, guys, take notes.
Yeah, you have to.
You have to have these fucking uncomfortable talks. You have to. Otherwise, you're not even like you're laying a crumbly ass foundation. Period. You're not laying nothing down. You gotta know. What you both are okay with, not okay with, what your goals are, what are, like, you need a lot of alone time, do you like a lot of together time, like all these things need to be talked about, I think.
It's real shit, you know. I was in a relationship one time a couple years back, you know, and it lasted like a year or something like that. It was just a wild roller coaster, and she wanted to be with me 24/7. So when I would go on set, she would be, you know, because she thought I was gonna cheat all the time. And you know, she just had it in her head because she's had that issue before. So, but the problem was that she was jumping in from relationship to relationship. So, you know what I'm saying? So it's like, that's another thing too. I always tell people, man, sometimes the best relationships is like if you become friends first, you know, and you kind of get to know each other. Nowadays, people just want to jump in and fuck, and that's it. You know, the fucking might be great, but at the same, you know, at the same time, it's like, that's not all that's gonna take to hold a relationship down. You know what I'm saying? There's more to it, you know. So it's like, man, you know, it was just one of those things where we didn't have those talks from the jump. You know, I messed up because, and I say I messed up because I, you know, like she, as much as she was pushing for it to, you know, to lock me in right away, we started dating. Like 2 weeks later, we were living together. Yeah. So it was just on some shit like that. Yeah. So you know what I'm saying? But yeah, you know, you kind of just live and learn, you know, and you know, at the same time, but man, it was like, that's why I tell people, man, the best thing you could do is talk, you know, from the jump, you know, get to know somebody, man. And so you know what they like, what they don't like, you know, what they're willing to put up, what they're not willing to put up, and then they get to know you the same way. And then, hey, if you want to, you know, if you want to go full force in, then fuck it, let's do this. You know, I'm feeling your vibe, you're feeling my vibe, let's do it, you know? But yeah.
and I think oftentimes, like, we try to put on this, like, facade of like, oh, I'm this, or I'm cool, or I'm showing off, or I'm only showing my good side. But no, even if it's uncomfortable, even at the beginning, like, hey, this is how I am. Like, sometimes I get needy, or sometimes I get jealous. You have to put that out there, because it's only fair. Like, you gotta let that person know. You gotta be real about it, you know. And if you are really liking this person, you have to be willing to show all of you.
You have to put it all out.
If you're really wanting a relationship, okay, that's serious. If you just want to have a fling, like, okay, maybe you don't have to say everything, right? Like, just have fun, go to the movies, go fucking fuck in the back of the seat, you know, whatever you want to do, right? But if you're actually looking to, like, potentially dating,
committed,
like, hey, like, these are some parts of myself that maybe I'm not proud of, but, like, this is me. Because at the end of the day, a few months, a year, 2 years, 3 years down the road, like, it's going to come out.
Exactly.
And that's only fair for that other person and for you and your relationship, if that's what you want, for it to be out, because it's going to come out sooner or later. Yeah, exactly. And I'd rather not waste my time. I need to know now. I'm sorry.
And that's the biggest thing, you know, wasting time, you know, because at the end of the day, you know, time is more precious than money.
Yeah, it is.
You know what I'm saying? Because you can make the money, get money back, but time... You're not getting time back, you know what I'm saying? So you know what I'm saying? But at the same time, sometimes I look at things like, you know, maybe it was just, you know, people coming in your life, you know, for a lesson.
Yeah, was it a reason?
There's reasons for
season
lessons,
and whatever the fuck.
So you know what I'm saying? But the best bet is if you communication and talk on the jump. So you know you get to know each other, and then now you know what that person's about, like really about, and you know what they know what you're about, and if you want to go full force, and you go. If they want to go, then you know you do, you know, you commit, and that's it.
So how do you feel about monogamy? Like, do you think we're meant to, like, are we wired, or is everybody different? Like, once you're in a relationship, how do you feel about monogamy? Do you think that you are meant to only, you know, fuck with each other, for lack of a better word? For lack of a better word. All right, you think it's in our human nature to just, like, fuck one person for the rest of their lives? Or how do you feel about, like, I mean, we're not blind. So, like, how do you feel about, like, a lot of people have issues like, oh my God, my man liked this girl's pictures, or blah, 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 or flirting or all that. So how do you feel about that when you're in relationship or other people in relationship?
I mean, shit, you know.
Or is it per case? Like,
I think
per
it's per
couple?
case. I think it's per couple, man, because there's some women that, you know what I'm saying, that get super jealous if you're, you know, like, if you happen to like somebody, you know, and I get that, you know, like, if you're liking other women's pictures and, you know, they're half naked or whatever, then I get, you know, but some people, you know, because, you know, some people just, you know, they don't, and I can't say they're insecurities, because at the end of the day, I feel like it's something that if you just don't like it, you let it be known, you know? Like, that's what I'm saying, if you communication from the jump, you say, you know what, I'm not going to put up with, if you're liking all kinds of other chicks' pictures, and you're talking to all these other chicks, or you're talking to all these other dudes, and I'm not going to deal with it, and that's cool. You know, but, you know, you letting it be known from the jump. But but some people, you know what I'm saying, they don't communicate all that shit. So then all that shit comes out down the line. And that's where it falls back down to communication. And you gotta let people know what you're willing to put up with and what you're not willing to put up with. You know, like, I'm not gonna deal with this shit. You know,
even if it feels like too much, just say it. Yeah. Save yourself the time. Save their time. Save the arguments.
Yeah. You know, like in my in my situation, you know, because you know I'm in the entertainment business, so you know I get to hang out with, you know, with a lot of beautiful women sometimes. You know what I'm saying? And not that I'm messing around or anything with them, but you know, it's like, if we take pictures and we're hanging out at a party and then it comes up on the internet, we're just hanging out there. You know, I've had issues where, you know, all cats backlash for that, you know, and we were just at a party hanging out. They took a picture with it, fuck it, went up on the internet, and that was it. And that's all it was, you know?
Right.
And that's the thing, you know, it's like, there's got to be some kind of trust though, too, you know? And if there's no trust, if you don't trust your partner, then that's.
I don't care how good your communication is. Doesn't matter anything. Trust literally goes above everything.
Yeah.
How much you trust your partner. You may love them to death, her to death, but if there's no trust,
there's nothing.
Forget it. There's nothing.
Yeah.
There's always going to be fights.
Yeah, exactly.
Always.
That's real shit, and then going to the whole thing where it's like, they say, oh well, guys are hunters by nature, so we have to have a lot of women and all that, and it works for some dudes, and for some dudes it don't. Like, you know what I'm saying?
I have something to say about that. Men are hunters, and it doesn't necessarily mean like they're gonna be hunting other women, but I feel everybody has a job. When you're in a relationship, you don't just stop trying.
Yeah.
I don't care if you're a man, I don't care if you're a woman, like you don't stop trying, because at the end of the day, we are hardwired. If you identify mostly with the feminine or the masculine, whatever it is, we all like seek some kind of like counterbalance, a yin and yang, right? So for a man, for example, if men are hunters or the masculine, like as a woman, like you don't, like, it doesn't mean that your man's gonna be cheating or nothing, but you also have to try and put in your effort. Like, what does it take? Like, hey, like maybe do something different. Maybe go for an adventure or do something out of the ordinary. Maybe like dress up one time. You know what I mean? It's a job. At the end of the day, when you're in a relationship, love is not going to keep you there. Once there's love, there's comfort. And once you're comfort, like there's a fine love. I forgot who I was talking about this, but there's a fine love between love and lust. So love and lust or passion. I don't remember which one it was, but essentially there's like this doctor, this like I don't know if it's psychologist, but anyway, she was talking about that. It's like it's either or. So once love is like comfort, like, oh, this is my person. But then as men or even as women too, like you want excitement, you want that adrenaline rush, and when you're in that safety mode, like that's gone. So it's like you do have to like go on dates, or hey, you do need a little time apart. You can't always be together. You need to have new experiences by yourself, have your own passions, and on top of that, have together things where you're both learning something new, when you're both seeing each other in a new light, because that's what keeps it going, and that's what will keep it long term. Because when people look elsewhere, is because that lust, that passion dies. But that doesn't mean that they don't love you, because I don't think love is defined to like being physically attracted or like having sex. To me, no, love it's a heart thing, right? So you can fuck other people and still love your person. But it's like, okay, it does take work to keep that going. So
at the end of the day, you know what I'm saying? In a relationship, if you want, you want to keep that fire burning, you gotta, whatever you did to get that person,
it takes work.
You got to keep doing it. You know what I'm saying? It's like a lot of people, that's the misconception, that people get married or they get in this relationship, start living together, and all of a sudden they stop doing what they were doing, before they, so that passion dies out.
Stop trying to like entice each other or date each other. Like, no, you can't stop. Like, that's when it should be. You
have to keep treating like you're still dating.
Yes.
So that's how that's the key to a long-term relationship and a happy relationship. Is you gotta be willing to do things for each other. And the problem is, like, and I don't want to say is that the new generation. I mean, obviously social media and society puts a lot of shit out there, and it's just crazy. But I feel that every person is different, But there's still a lot of people that like to do the same things to to their partners that they met, when they first met. If you were constantly bringing, your girl flowers and taking her on these nice dates and all that, keep doing it. Even if you're all living together or married, or just keep doing that, because if you keep doing that, she's gonna see that you're putting in that effort still. And you're still doing what you got to do, and she's gonna keep doing. She's gonna, reciprocate the back, and the whole situation's gonna. It's gonna work better that way. You know what I'm saying? If both of you on the same boat, on the same page, because if you're doing one thing, with the same thing you were doing before, and she stopped doing it, or vice versa, then that's when things just start kind of falling apart. And you start drifting. Yeah. And next thing you know. The sex goes down, the next thing the communication goes down. You're not even talking to each other. One's in one room, the other one's in the other room, and the same thing is, I feel, for example, physical attraction, right? You know what I'm saying? I'm sure, okay, you met, I don't know. I mean, I don't know for women, it could be a little bit different, but I feel like for dudes, it's more like it's almost like a visual thing. Like a lot of times women, they get, you know, the women's looking a certain way, and you know, obviously everything changes. You know, time changes, bodies change. You know, and that's, I guess that's the test of love. You know, I guess you know, at the end of the day. But at the end of the day, I feel too is like as men and women, if you meet someone a certain way, you know, it's like, man, you know, like try to keep up with your appearance too, and stay like that. You know what I'm saying? Because it's hard. You know, I know it's hard, but you got to put that work in though. Yeah. Relationships take work, and a lot of times that relationships that don't work, it's because, you know, somebody stopped doing this, someone stopped doing that, then one don't care no more, you know, and then they just drift apart, and now they're just kind of living together.
Right.
But there's no sense of love or nothing in there, you know. It's just like empty. It's an empty nest, you know. I don't know. It's just weird.
No, it is, and I think a lot of women feel bad when men do that. But I don't know. I'm sorry, but like I think it is important to put effort into yourself.
Yeah.
One way or another, and that is huge for me. Like, I do think it's important, and you know, you go up and down. It's fine. We're human, you know what I mean. But I think it is important to
keep a roller coaster.
You should, you know. Why wouldn't I want to look good for my man?
Yeah.
Why wouldn't, you know what I mean? Like, why wouldn't I want to be more or do more for my man? Like, it comes down to that. Exactly. It comes down to effort. You know, I think it's energetic shit, because a lot of
it goes both ways.
Y'all can hate me, but like a lot of women, like once like they get together, have the kids, it's just like, you know, and
they let themselves go.
I'm sorry, but like, yeah, we can all do something about ourselves. Yeah. You know what I mean? So it's not coming from a hateful place, because I've had my ups and downs, especially the last couple of years. A bitch been struggling, but I've been trying. You know what I'm saying? Like I've been trying, and I think it's important. I think it comes down to that, and I think when you love your partner, it's like, I want to make them happy.
Yeah, exactly.
You know, it should be that constant, like, you know what? Like, what would make them happy? Yeah. Like, I'm expecting this. I'm expecting my partner to love me. I'm expecting my partner to give me time. I'm expecting all this and this and that. We want all this from our partner, but yet we're not, like, you know.
You gotta be willing to put in the work. Also, if you want them to put the work in,
exactly.
You know, and keep it going. You gotta be willing to put the work in.
Exactly.
And that's how. Yeah, I think that's the key to long-term relationships. You know, to last a long time. Mm-hmm. You know.
So it wouldn't be my show without ending this with a Four Loko story. So, so I need to know: do you have a crazy first Four Loko story? Any Four Loko story? Or any drunk story to bless this podcast.
Man, shit, man. I got so
you say
many.
You're 55?
Yeah, 55. So, yeah, you know what I'm saying? Yeah, my memory don't work the same, but I remember being fucked up a few times. I remember, you know, days crawling into the, you know, crawling up the porch, trying to get in the house, you know, trying to reach to open the door. You know, because back when I was younger, man, you know, we used to party hard back in the. I started drinking at an early age, man. I was like at 13, 14, I was drinking and getting high and doing all kinds of dumb shit, you know. And we used to party, you know. We used to go to one of my homies' pads. His name was Don, and we used to call it Donald High School because, you know, that's where everybody used to go ditch and just hang out, you know, and party.
There was always that one house.
Yeah, you know. And
by the way.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And man, I remember I had a 10-speed, and man, I don't even know how the fuck I got home on that motherfucker, but I drove like me. I rode the bike. I want to say like a good like 4 miles.
Damn.
Lit. I don't even know how. All I remember is being at the house, trying to open the door. Yeah, trying to open the door, you know, and then my mom opened the door for me. But so there's so many drunk stories, man. It's just ridiculous.
Do you remember your first time drinking a Four Loko?
I think the first time I drank a Four Loko was with you at the studio when we
Shut up.
Yeah, because I never really drank Four Lokos.
Oh my God! You know, I'm blessing everybody.
my times were Cisco's and shit. You know, I don't know if you guys remember the Cisco's. I know.
I remember Sparks, not Cisco.
Yeah. If you Google Cisco's, they're pretty much like the original Four Lokos. To be honest.
Yeah, or like the Mad Dogs.
Yeah, or the Mad Dogs.
Yeah. The Mad Dogs 2020.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Shit, that shit was all alcohol, I think. So you know, the first Four Loko I want to say I had was when we were recording the Latin Nation album at the studio.
I keep popping people's cherries.
And I remember you used to show up with the Four Locos all the time. Or when we would send somebody to go do the run to the liquor store, and you would always order the Four Locos. Well, they already knew, that you liked the Four Locos, so they would bring them and shit. But yeah, man, I remember. Yeah, no, that was the first time, man. That was the first time I had a Four Loko and shit, because I would be engineering, remember? I'd be engineering and shit.
Well, I remember you give us the bong with the strawberries and the ice.
Oh, yeah.
I was like, oh, this is bougie.
I think that was nuts. Yeah, Eric, my son,
it was him?
Yeah, it was his bong.
I was like, what is this?
Yeah,
I've been smoking out of a can.
Yeah, no, it tasted so fucking clean. He would just load it up with strawberries and shit and pack a bowl and fucking get everybody lit.
I remember that, because after that, I didn't remember much.
Yeah, no, it was some good times, man. When we had the recording studio, man, it was like, man, everybody would come out, hang out, and we just have a good time, man.
It was.
Everybody was all lit, man. I remember we used to have New Year's Eve parties there all the time. Yeah, we have recording sessions on New Year's Eve. Like, we wouldn't even go out to clubs. We'd have recording sessions, and everybody would just come and party.
That's the vibe.
We would close down the parking lot. They had a gate, so we just closed down the parking lot, and we start bumping, open the door of the studio, and the whole parking lot to ourselves.
So my question is, when are you throwing another party?
Hopefully soon.
And am I invited?
Yeah, of course.
I think
soon, man, because we got a lot of things to celebrate, So.
Exactly. You can't stop celebrating.
Yeah,
because
exactly. You gotta celebrate every little minor thing that you get, that accomplishment. You gotta celebrate it. You know what I'm saying? I don't, don't get out of control, but
every day is a celebration.
But every day is a celebration. You just gotta, what you're here on earth, man. You gotta make the best of it, and just take advantage of your loved ones and hang out and tell everybody you love them, and just hang out and just have a good time, and. There's a lot of things to be grateful for, at the end of the day.
Everything. The fact that we're breathing right now is something to be grateful for. I don't take that for granted. Every day I'm like, thank you, God. Thank you for the sunrise. When I see the clouds and the sunset, I'm like, I'm fucking blessed. Like, I may be going through whatever the fuck I'm going through. I'm like, this is beautiful.
You got to wake up with that positive attitude, and just tell yourself every morning when you wake up, today's going to be a fantastic day.
Fuck yeah. It's a good day to have a good day.
Yeah, exactly, And I think, if you say that every morning, you start off your day with that,
a good mantra, yeah.
Yeah, you gotta start off your day with positive mindset, positive vibes, and I light a lot of incense, aside from weed, I light incense, and the incense, they help with the mood in the morning too, in the evenings,
Okay.
Before I go to sleep, before I go to sleep, I like to light,
I light a candle. I have my crystals around my windowsill.
Yeah, that too, yeah.
And then I have a little written paper with my wishes, my prayers, intentions.
Yeah, that's another thing too, I light candles all the time at the pad, especially for my mom, she passed away a couple years ago, so I have her picture and I always light the candles and, little prayers and, I write down, I have my book where I write down every day, kind of like manifesting shit, and, my intentions,
You're putting it out there.
You put it out into the universe, and it's not gonna happen overnight, but it will happen.
As long as you're taking action, loving yourself, learning. Yeah.
Because you got to put the work in.
You got to put the work in.
You got to put the work in. As long as you keep putting the work in, you ask for what you want and you put the work in, and you'll get it. But some people, they don't know how it works. They just think you just ask for it and it's going to land on your lap.
Right.
In some cases it might. You might get lucky and it might happen that one or twice, but doesn't mean it's going to happen all the time. You still got to put that work in.
Absolutely.
And so I always say, celebrate every day. Every day on earth is an accomplishment.
Yeah.
You know
absolutely.
what I'm saying?
Okay, so you got any shout outs for anybody out there? Any what was I gonna say? Any shows, any upcoming shit that we can attend to? Because I definitely want to hit up one of your shows.
Shit, you know what? We just did a show on Saturday out here.
But you gotta let me know in advance, because I'm okay, I gotta know at least 2 weeks in advance, 1 or 2 weeks. But 2 weeks is the sweet spot for me.
Yeah, no, I'll keep you posted, because we're doing a lot of shows with my boy Phil Medina. We're out on the road, in the Smash Brothers. We just been on the road stuff, doing shit, and then I've been doing stuff on my own, aside from working with those guys, because those are Phil Medina's one that got me into doing stand up comedy. For those
I
that
want
don't
to
know,
see you doing that.
you know, and so we just been on the road doing that, and then I just signed on. Well, you know, we just got out of the strike. You know, I don't know if you know you knew about the strike, the writers and the actors strike that was going on. Mm-hmm. So that just finished, and so now we're back to work. You know, so I'm working on a new show. It's coming out on Hulu next year. It's I'm doing a voiceover. They're bringing back King of the Hill, so I'm on the reboot. The King of the Hill. I got a recurring part on there. You know.
Shut up! Yeah. Ooh, you gotta tell me when this happens. Yes.
Yeah, you know. So shout out to Mike Judge. You know, he's the one creator of the King of the Hill and Beavis and Butthead. You know, so he's always looked out for me. You know, and he's the one that put me in my first movie ever, which is Idiocracy. I don't know if you guys ever seen that movie, man. Look at it, you're gonna be.
You have? What is it about?
It's basically about like the way the world is right now, but it's supposed to take like 500 years in the future, but it's kind of like what's happening right now. You know?
Did it come out a few years ago, like some years ago?
This came out back in 2005.
Oh, maybe I haven't.
Yeah, and but it became a cult classic. So it's making its rounds right now because of social media. It's become like this big old fucking So they be doing like screenings all over the country, you know, and. My boy Terry Crews is in it. Luke Wilson, Maya Rudolph, and Dak Shepard, and it's a sci-fi comedy. But when you look at it, you're gonna be like, dude, some of that shit that's going on right now is what's in that movie, you know. So
predicted.
A lot of people.
Kind of like The Simpsons.
Yeah, like that, you know, because it's funny because a lot of people that saw that movie Idiocracy when it first came out, see, it was so crazy and like stupid, like it didn't hit the theaters because there was Fox. It came out to Century 20 Fox. There was like a bunch of politics that happened there, but it hit some theaters, but it made its way through the underground. Mm-hmm. And it just kind of became a cult classic, And so man, people that saw that movie when it first came out, the same people, these are like close friends, the people that saw it, like, they looked at me like, bro, what the fuck did I just watch, man? I feel like I lost brain cells, It was, because it's stupid comedy. It's sci-fi stupid comedy. But 20 years later, 30 years later, whatever, it's like people that the same people that are still around and tell me like, bro, that fucking movie's crazy, man. Mike Judge fucking can tell the future and all this shit. Like, man, I don't know what, man, but yeah.
Ended with one of my favorite movies is Paranormal Activity.
Oh, yeah,
the marked ones.
Yeah.
Tell me a little bit about that.
That shit was crazy because
he was in it. Yeah, he was in it.
I was just like, I had like a cool little cameo in there, like.
Yeah.
I wasn't even supposed to be in it, but I just went on set to hang out, and then because one of my homies was in it, and then they saw me and they go, hey, you want to be in it? Just a little quick appearance right here and shit like that. Yeah.
It was a party scene, right?
Yeah, the party scene. So when the cameras are walking in, you see me standing there talking with some other homies, chopping it up right there. But we're standing by a lowrider as they're walking in. The two main characters are walking in, going to the back to the party and shit. And I'm just standing there, just kind of like mad dogging the camera, which is I'm looking at the guys, like who the fuck are these guys, But yeah, so so right away they told me, he goes, hey, you want to be in it? Fuck, man, just fill out the paperwork and that's it. And, all right, fuck it, I'm in there. That's all I got on that movie.
But still, hey, those movies like are huge. But honestly, my favorite, not just because I'm Mexican, but like that was the Mexican fucking Paranormal Activity. But the best, because I feel like all the Paranormal Activities, they're all right. They got some jump scares and shit, but I feel like the marked ones, game over. And I feel like I've experienced so much shit that I'm like, I related so much to that movie. And if you haven't seen it, you got to watch it. Paranormal Activity, the marked ones.
Well, it was like they brought those Latino tales to life,
Yeah, and it's true shit, dude. Like, I'm like, are they telling my life right now? That one actually scared me. I'm like, this hits close to home. Like, what the fuck?
Yeah, no, a lot of people were able to relate to it. You know what I'm saying? Because those are, a lot of those stories were, like shit that we grew up listening to. You know, so that was a good movie, man. It was a good movie, man.
Yeah, props to you. Honestly, like, you obviously doing your thing. You're still pushing. You're still kicking, and I hella respect you for everything that you've been doing. And I know that more great shit's happening for you and going to. So I look forward to it, and I definitely want to go to one of your future shows.
Yeah, I'll keep you guys posted. Sure. I'll keep you guys posted for sure.
Tag me and whatever the fuck. Like, I'll fucking repost it, even if I can't make it or I got something going on. Like, I want to make sure support and everything. So
I'll let you know. for sure. Ahead of time. Anything going on. So like that, if you guys can make it.
And I drive around, so like I'll be going to San Pedro. I'll be going to fucking North Hollywood, downtown LA. So like that ain't an issue. Then I probably won't drink.
Maybe you guys should. I don't know if you guys are doing anything for New Year's Eve, but you know we're doing 2 shows out in Oxnard. So if you guys want to take a dip out there, you know, I'll get you guys tickets. You know.
Ooh.
We're doing 2 shows that night. You know, and
Okay.
Yeah.
Hit me up because I don't have any plans, to be honest.
It's a nice club too. It's a nice comedy club in Oxnard called the Levity Live. So. You know, shout out to my boy Phil Medina. He produces for the last couple of years. He produces a New Year's Eve show.
Okay.
Last year we did 1 show, and we were gonna do a second show, and a bunch of shit happened, and we didn't do the second show. They called the cops because some people were mad because they couldn't get in. And, like a lot of people got turned away. So this year, ahead of time they set it up. They go, you know, you guys do 2 shows back to back. You know.
Wow.
Yeah, you know they get rid of all the people the first show, and they bring in the other people. You know. And like that, so that's on New Year's Eve out in Oxnard, the Levity Live, you know. So, so if you guys want to go, I'll definitely get you guys tickets, you know, and it'll be a good time, I guarantee you.
Yeah, thank you. No, for sure. Send me all the details and all that. With that, guys, we'll leave you. It was very nice having you on the podcast. It was definitely some real shit, some funny shit all over, but I'm glad you came. Thank you for coming through. Thank you for your son driving you.
Yeah, congratulations to you, you know.
Thank you.
You've been on the grind too, you know, doing your shit for a long time, and you know, and just every year you just gotta look at it like another stepping stone. You keep going, you keep growing as an artist, you know, because you know, for those that don't know, we did a song a while back.
Oh yeah,
we did a song a while back.
Yeah,
like, you know, so you're on the chorus on the hook with me and Jerry.
Were you okay? I'm not gonna lie, I was drunk for this. When wasn't I? Okay, so like when we did the song, I'm so sorry, but like, were you there? Were you not there?
No, you know what? When you dropped that hook, I wasn't there.
Okay. I was like, I don't think he was there, but I'm like, am I rude? I'm like, should
because
I ask?
you okay.
It was Tractor. Tractor actually wrote the fucking verse. I mean, the hook.
And he recorded you first.
Yes,
with that hook.
He did.
He recorded you with that hook, and then he played us with that beat. He played it for me and Jerry. Well, he played it for Jerry. You know, Jerry Coronado, the homie. And then Jerry asked me, he goes, "Hey, bro, would you be down to get on it?" And I go, "Yeah, fuck it." So we ended up getting on it, and then last minute it just turned into a Pueblo Cafe song because
Cafe.
So Jerry was rolling with it at the time, so we just said, "All right, fuck it," with Pueblo Cafe featuring Cristal, you know. And that's how that came up. But no, I wasn't there when you recorded the hook.
Like, no. I'm pretty sure he wasn't, but I'm like, then I got really fucked up. Like, what if he showed up like afterwards and I don't remember? I don't fucking know.
Because you and Tractor had already dropped that hook.
Okay, because like I didn't consider myself a rapper before. I just be like some songs. I'd be talking.
And it was dope, man.
And he wrote it. He's just like, all right, this is how you sing. And I'm just like, and I'm like, ooh, I was like, what is this? I like it. So it's actually a really good song. So
it's called La Buena Vida by Pueblo Cafe featuring Cristal.
Yeah, it's actually a good song. Yeah, and I'm gonna play it tonight. So
it's you know, you killed it on that shit. You know, that's why when Jerry first played it for me, I was like, "Fuck, this is." And
it went on the radio.
Yeah.
It went on the radio. I was like, "Ooh!" He sent me the video. He like turning out the fucking radio. He's like, "Look, our song is on the radio." And I'm like, "What?" Yeah. I was in bumfuck fucking North Dakota. I was like, "Oh man, I wish I was back home, but it's all good."
Yeah, but you killed it. So, you know, congratulations on all that shit too, man. You know, you got a good voice, you know, and you know, and hopefully you keep doing your thing, getting bigger and bigger every year, you know.
Yeah.
You know?
So God bless.
Yeah.
Y'all, thank you for watching. Thank you for stopping by. And with that, I'm gonna leave you guys. The No Filter Podcast, bitch. That is it.